Hey, what's going on? So, just to clarify a few things from the other day. The other day, I posted a text that I got from one of the guys I work with about how his initial testing has improved. Like his run time had improved by 30 seconds. His push-ups and sit-ups that he has to do for the military had improved significantly, and in a relatively short amount of time, and he hadn't performed any running for since December. So how could his run time have gotten better? So the answer is the main things that we've been working on for him have been flexibility and mobility and stability. So we've worked on those, but in the weight room specifically, performance comes down to force. That's all there is to it. It comes down to, by and large, how much force can you generate, and then how quickly can you relax a grouping of muscle, and then contract again. That's ultimately what you'll see when you look at performance on the field or on the court through that lens, is the athletes who can turn on the most amount of muscle in the shortest amount of time, while of course having their relative skill and the specificity of practicing their sport, are likely going to win the play. They're going to more likely to win the play over and over again. Ends up increasing the probability that they're going to win the game. But that's the lens I look at it through. Is it all comes down to force. So when you look at just the basic force equation, which is mass times acceleration, all I'm really doing with athletes is I'm just manipulating, which side of that equation am I going to work on. So is it going to be more focused on big mass but a small acceleration while having the intent to move as quickly as possible? Or is it going to be, small mass with high acceleration focus with the intent to move as fast as possible? Or is it going to be some kind of blend between the two? So really it comes down to, we're looking at three primary types of training efforts. We're looking at maximal effort, so this doesn't mean max out, but we're just pushing very, very heavy weight. Below that, we'll have submax or dynamic effort, where we'll look at, okay, this is not your maximum or close to your maximum. This is just focused on how quickly can you generate force. And the third effort we'll look at is repetition effort, which is going to be bringing up weak points or correcting imbalances, sometimes through unilateral work, sometimes through bilateral work. But those are the three primary efforts we'll look at, and then we'll just manipulate how much of each one of those variables that we work on based on what the individual needs. So anyway, with strength training, true strength training is, in some capacity, well, you have to put more weight on the bar, is what it comes down to. There are people that I see, and there's businesses that advertise where it's like, hey, come do your strength work, and there's never any kind of added external stimulus. It's just, hey, use your body weight. Okay, cool. Like, body weight has its place for sure. It's just another tool in the toolbox. But if you want to get stronger, you have to put more weight on the bar. That's all there is to it. That doesn't have to be at an incredibly fast rate as far as how quickly you add weight to the bar in terms of session to session or week to week, month to month, or whatever. But you do have to put more weight on the bar. There's no getting around it. And I see these businesses that advertise, hey, come do your strength stuff, and they don't have any weights, which, okay, that doesn't make any sense. So anyway, just something to consider there. So when you're truly focused on getting strong, and just so we're clear, strength training does not mean that you are going to blow up and get huge and look like Ronnie Coleman or anything like that. There's a ton of things that Ronnie Coleman had to do for years and years and years and years and years, and maintain a ridiculous adherence to, that made him Ronnie Coleman, in addition to his genetics. But anyway, people for some reason are still under this presumption that, well, if I lift weights, I'll get big. No, that's not the way it works. It is used as a tool, and if dosed appropriately, you'll add some muscle size. That's great. But a couple strength training sessions a week, for most folks, is not going to lead to hypertrophy by default. And there's plenty of folks that I work with who do not want to add body mass. You can get incredibly strong without adding body mass. When dosing the sets and reps and volumes appropriately, and continuing to push relatively high intensities. But anyway, so if you need to improve your run time, you don't necessarily have to run all the freaking time. There's a million other things you can do, but occasionally you will have to practice the specificity of running to improve that on occasion. But if you're looking at this bigger picture long term, then you need to be mindful of the fact that you need to, save a little wear and tear on your body. You need to, save the joints a bit. And, it's hard to get really excited about doing the exact same thing every day. So it's important to, kind of figure out how to gamify it a little bit and say, like, okay, how can I compete with myself and do things that are still going to get the adaptation that I want without doing the same repetitive stuff over and over and over. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, please comment, or you can always email me directly, travis@dhpcoaching.net. Have a good day.